My son cut me off with two sentences. Here's how I wiped out his 35 million inheritance.
On my 71st birthday, my son texted me. It had only 2 sentences and his wife liked it. That one text cost them a $35 million family fortune. This story shows what happens when people confuse a father's kindness with weakness. If you think respect should build a family, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Tell me where you are from in the comments so I can see how far this reaches. It started on my most silent birthday. The quiet was obvious. In my large custom home in the green hills of Pennsylvania, silence is a big deal. Thick walls and good windows keep the loud world away. But that night the quiet was not calm, it felt heavy. It was the sound of missing people. I sat in my velvet armchair. My late wife Martha used to say it made me look too stern. I looked at the hall clock. Its ticking marked the time. 70 years had passed. Now my 71st was fading fast. The two people I cared about most did not notice. My phone was dark on the shiny walnut table next to me. I picked it up many times. I almost called but stopped. I told myself they were busy. Ryan had a new project. Sophie was likely planning a charity event. This was a bad excuse. A son does not forget his dad's birthday, not unless he learns to, or unless he gets so much that he stops being thankful. Happy memories filled the house. I could almost hear Ryan laughing on the stairs. I pictured Martha putting flowers on the shelf, her smile lighting up the room. When she died, I gave all my focus to our son. It was my duty and my last promise to her. I gave him everything. I kept him safe from the tough times I faced when I built my hardware business into a huge brand. I slowly realized I gave him all he wanted, but I never gave him a reason to respect me. The pain of being alone grew too strong. I did not want a gift or a party. I just wanted a bond. I wanted them to know I was still here. I sighed deeply and grabbed my phone. My fingers fumbled as I typed. I read it often and erased words. I tried to sound calm, not needy. I chose basic words a dad says to his boy. Just wanted to say I love you both, hope you're having a good week. I sent it fast so I would not doubt myself. I felt a bit better for a moment. It was gone. The quiet broke. I just had to wait. The wait was short. Under a minute later, my phone buzzed. Warmth and hope hit me. He texted back. He remembered. Maybe they were just busy. Maybe I was just an old, soft man thinking too much. I smiled and grabbed the phone. My heart felt light. Then I read the text. The screen lit up the dark room. 2 sentences looked colder than the fall air. We need space from you. Please do not contact us at all. I read it twice. I lost my breath like I was hit in the chest. It was not the anger of a young man having a bad day. It was a rejection. It felt like a cold business firing. It was an end. My son fired his dad. My brain froze. The mean words shocked me. For 25 years after Martha died, my life was all about him. I tried to give him a base to build his life, but I made a huge error. I did not give him a base. I gave him a fully set-up penthouse. Now he was mad at the owner. The first shock faded. Then I saw a tiny detail under the text. It made the cold message even worse. I saw a red heart and the words, "Sophie liked this message." That is when it all fell apart. My heartbreak was not loud. It was a quiet, deep crack that ruins a strong base. Sophie was his wife. I paid for her grand wedding without a thought. She drove a Porsche Macan I bought for her birthday. Her like was not just a nod, it was a cheer. It was a high five for his mean words. I clearly saw their bond then. They were not just a pair, they were a team of greed. Old memories rushed back. I had ignored them to keep the peace. Now they linked together to make an ugly picture. I paid $550,000 for their Rittenhouse penthouse. They called it a starter home. Lots of credit card bills came to my house. They bought luxury designer shoes and trips to fancy resorts. I quietly paid them all. I recalled a call 7 months ago. Ryan sounded so relaxed. He asked for $220,000 for Sophie's new art business. He did not ask. He told me he was taking it. I mildly said he could use his own money. He just laughed. "Dad, this is my money. It is the family money." I let it slide. I sent the cash. I always did because I loved him. I was foolish to think he would ever learn. I was wrong. The text proved it. To them, I was not a dad or a person. I was just a cash fund. I was an endless source of money acting too soft in my old age. Now they told the cash source to go away. I stood and went to the window. I looked at the dark lawn. I saw the garden Martha and I planted. I saw the home I made. A deep chill hit me. It killed my last bit of sad feelings. A hard, clear, calm mood took its place. It was not anger, it was a firm choice. You cannot talk sense into greedy people. You cannot deal with rude acts. You can only stop the cash flow. I walked to the table and took my phone. My hands did not shake at all. I opened Ryan's contact page. I went to the bottom and tapped block this caller. A prompt asked if I was sure. I blocked him without a doubt. Next, I blocked Sophie. The digital quiet was total. Now I was in charge of it. Then I made a call. It rang twice. A known pro voice answered, Robert Vance. Robert, it is Arthur, I said calmly. Sorry to call so late. Arthur, no issue. Are you okay? He asked. He sounded worried. Robert was my friend and lawyer for 35 years. He wrote my will and built my firm. More so, he set up the Pendleton Family Trust. Things are very clear, I said. We must meet early tomorrow. We need to change the trust right now. Driving to Robert Vance's office felt odd the next day. The winding roads felt foreign. The view changed because my mind was set. Yesterday the fall leaves looked nice but sad. Now they were just dead bits waiting to go. I had no sadness. I only had a quiet, strict goal. Vance and Partners had the top floor of a glass tower in Wilmington. It looked over the Delaware River. It felt like quiet power. It smelled of rich leather and old paper. It was a spot where wealth was kept safe with neat legal papers. Robert stood by his huge window when I walked in. His suit was sharp like his mind. His gray hair was neat, showing subtle wealth. He turned and looked at me. His sharp eyes held no pity. He just understood. He pointed to a velvet chair near his big desk. Arthur, he said calmly. Coffee. I shook my head and sat. Thanks, Robert. Let us just do this. He nodded and sat down. He folded his hands near a thick folder. It sat right between us. He did not ask what was wrong. He offered no pity. He just waited. He was a great friend and a sharp lawyer. He knew this was pure business. I told him about the night before. My voice did not shake like a sad dad. I spoke like a client reporting broken rules. I told him about my 71st birthday. I told him about the quiet, my short text, and the 2 lines I got back. I also told him how Sophie liked it. The small heart felt like a sharp knife. When I stopped, the room got quiet again. This quiet felt new. It felt like facts being judged. Robert leaned back, his face blank. I waited 6 years for this call, Arthur, he said plainly. Since Ryan's 32nd birthday at the yacht club. Recall his speech. He thanked you for funding his life, like he was a new business and you were an investor. I knew then he did not see a father. He saw a bank. And Sophie is not just a user. She runs that bank's cash. Hearing my fears spoken by Robert felt so good. It proved I was right. I was not just a grumpy old guy. Others saw this truth long ago. I was just the last to see it. Robert slid the thick file over. Gold letters shone on the front. The Pendleton Family Trust. Every major thing is here, he said. He sounded like a lawyer now, not a friend. The trust owns their penthouse deed. The car leases are in its name. Trust funds back their credit cards, and the $25,000 monthly cash comes straight from it. He stopped to let the words sink in. Arthur, we made this after Martha passed. It was to guard your wealth and help Ryan later. It is a trust you can change. It is like a strong safe. You put your wealth in it, you have the only key. You can open it, take things out, or add new things. You can change who gets what. Right now, Ryan and Sophie are top names, but you still hold the key. You have full power to change it all whenever you want, for any reason. I looked at my name on the folder. For years I thought it was a safety net for my son. It kept him comfy and secure. Now I saw its real use. It was a tool of power I forgot I had. I used my own cash to fund an attack on my self-respect. I looked at Robert. I had no doubts. The path was clear and I would not quit. Start the work, I said softly but strongly. Cut them out fully. End the penthouse lease. Stop all credit. Halt the monthly money right now. Everything, Robert. I leaned in a bit. We are stopping the flow. While I sat in Robert's office planning this, the first blows hit miles away in Philadelphia. The game started. My son and his wife did not even know. I could see it clearly. They did this a lot. But this time the rules changed behind their backs. They ate lunch at an elite spot. One meal there cost what a family spends in 5 weeks. It was their safe zone. It had quiet voices and wide views of Fairmount Park. The food was placed like art. Sophie likely took a cute photo of her saffron seafood pasta for online fans. Ryan probably spun a costly glass of wine, telling the waiter about its flavors. They acted like rich, grand folks. They played this part without ever doing hard work. The meal ended with laughs as usual. A waiter placed a leather bill holder on the table. Ryan would grab it smoothly. He learned that look from me but missed the true effort behind it. He would not check the huge cost. Why check? Cash was not real to him. It was just a river from a peak he never climbed. He would give the waiter his J.P. Morgan Reserve card. He loved the thick metal feel. Then he would lean back to chat about flying to Vail or Turks and Caicos for the trip. Minutes would pass. They would keep talking and showing off. Then the waiter would come back looking sorry. "I am very sorry, Mr. Pendleton," he would say quietly. "The card was denied." Ryan would laugh in shock first. "Denied? No way, try it again. Your reader is broken." He ordered, not asked. In his life, his card always worked. The world was built that way for him. Sophie would look mad at this ugly flaw in her perfect day. The waiter would try again naturally. He would come back soon with the same bad news. "Sorry again, sir. The card has a fault. Do you have another card?" Ryan's anger would mix with real shame now. He was losing face on his own turf. He would pull out a titanium MasterCard and wave his hand. "Here, this has no limit." But it did have one. A fresh limit set to 0. The waiter's third trip would be grim. His fake smile would fade into worry. Sophie would sense a real issue and stop looking at her phone. "Ryan, what is wrong?" she would snap. She would give her diamond exclusive card. Her look dared them to deny it. It was denied. The table was no longer a stage for wealth. It became an island of quiet panic. Laughs died. They whispered fast. "What is going on?" Sophie would press. "Did you skip a bill?" "No, I did not skip a bill," Ryan would bite back. His pride was gone. "My dad's firm does it all. The trust pays on time. It cannot be." He used that term again. It was the cry of a man who never saw a locked door. He would grab his phone, trying hard to fix his broken world. "I will call Dad." The bank messed up big time. He would tap the screen to find my picture. He would hit call and put it to his ear. He would wait for the normal ring, but it would not ring. It would just drop right to a quiet voice inbox. He would frown in shock. He would try again, same thing, the call cut off fast. Cold fear would show on his face. This was no tech glitch. This felt off. He would swap to texts. His thumbs would move fast. "Dad, what is wrong?" He would stare. His brain would refuse to link the facts. Then he would try again and again. The red text would mock him every time. The awful truth hit him. It was no network glitch or bank error. It was a thick, solid wall. He was locked out. "He blocked me," he said softly, shocked. "My dad blocked my phone." Sophie went pale under her costly makeup. Paying for lunch was no longer the main issue. It was a crisis. "Why did he do this? What did you do?" she snapped, blaming him. "I did nothing," Ryan pushed back. His mind raced to grasp why their world just flipped. "We only said we needed space." The crazy truth hit them. They were stuck in a pricey New York spot with no money. "How do we pay?" Sophie hissed in a panic. She checked if people saw their mess. "The house bill is due soon, Ryan, and the lease on my Porsche Macan too. What do we do now?" A quick hope flashed in Ryan's eyes. "The cash," he said. "The $25,000. It was due yesterday. It must be in the bank. It transfers on its own." "Check it then," Sophie ordered. "Do it now." Shaking, Ryan opened the app. The screen glowed on his face. He looked at the total. His fear turned to deep gloom. He looked at his wife, looking sick. "It is gone," he mumbled softly. "The money did not show up. After I met Robert, my quiet mood was my best tool. It was not just a lack of noise. It was a smart, active move. My boy and his wife yelled at nothing. Yet my days grew very calm. I worked in my yard. I passed the daytime in my wood room. The smell of cut wood was strong. I read old books I saved for years. I did not stare at my phone. I did not seek a sorry. I played my turn in the game. Now I let the results spread out. They would hit right on mark. The first wave struck their home. I saw Sophie in her $250 gym pants. She waited for the maids. She grew mad, tapping her foot on the shiny wood floors. She never washed them herself. Soon, a text from the firm came. It was formal and firm. "Dear Mrs. Pendleton, we write to tell you your cleanings are stopped. You did not pay." Dirt would slowly take over their big home. The next hit found Ryan. He went to his fancy gym. Coaches there cost a lot. He was set to work out, but his key card failed at the door. The desk clerk gave a fake sad look. She told him his gym pass was cut off. For a guy like Ryan, easy entry was his whole life. A locked door was a deep blow. It hurt his pride. Next, small daily perks left. Fresh food boxes stopped showing up. They had to walk through a food store. They likely saw it as an odd spot. Auto bills for their wine group failed. TV apps and the pet walker stopped too. Slowly, the hidden blocks of their easy life broke. Their known world was shut down piece by piece. Then the next step started: selling things. Pride is a rich trait. It was the first to go. I picture the harsh talks in their nice home. Sophie had angry, scared eyes. She took out the luxury designer shoes I got her. Each shoe showed a life fading fast. Ryan's hands shook. He removed the Italian-made watch I gave him when he turned 32. They skipped cheap pawn shops. They were too proud. They went to chic used goods shops on Walnut Street. They acted like they just wanted less stuff. Truly, they prayed the cash would pay for next week. My kind gifts were traded for fast cash. It was odd and sad. Their huge ego was now dust. Pure, deep fear grew in its spot. For the first time, the earth did not bow to them. Their sure backup plan was gone. They never even thanked me for it. They fell fast and the hard floor came near. Fear teaches well. It was the one thing I forgot to teach my boy. Now life taught it for me. They tried harder to reach me. My muted phone sat in my room. It proved their panic. Strange numbers popped up. I let them ring. 45 minutes later, I played the tapes. It was always Ryan. His voice was fake and tight. "Dad, it is me. I am on a pal's phone. Answer." "This is a bad joke. We must chat." He still said must. He thought he could order me around. Extra calls hit my phone. More notes from odd digits came. Each felt more rushed. They were a wild wind on my quiet stone walls. Yet inside I felt good. I left the new digits unblocked. My hush was the best block. It replied to all asks, rules, and blames. It was a firm, steady no. They begged for space. I just gave it to them in a shock wave. 5 weeks flew by. For me, it was 5 weeks of calm habits and rest. For them, they sank in slow motion. Robert updated me. He did not gossip. It was just for law files. The cash from their sold items would fail soon. It was like a tiny cup bailing out a huge boat. They fixed small cracks. Meanwhile, a big hole split below the deck. After 35 days of quiet, I sensed the huge storm. It came as one flat page. Someone taped it to their grand wooden door. The building firm sent a formal note. The bold black and red ink clashed with their chic hall. It told them to leave since they paid no rent. I see the exact time Ryan spotted it. He was lost. He thought it was a dumb typo for a neighbor. Then stark terror crept in as he read the facts. Tenant, the Pendleton Family Trust. Cash owed, 10 weeks of rent adding to $50,000. Sophie felt shock and pure fury. "Rent?" she yelled. The word felt strange and rude. "How is this rent? This home is ours. Your dad bought it." That second crushed my boy's soul. He had to face the cold truth. He told himself the facts for the first time. "I thought he owned it," he shook. "He just took care of things. They stayed in a gold trap. They never asked who owned the lock. Their whole life was fake. The floor was not firm earth. It was just a rented deal. Now the time ran out. Their safe feel was a lie. It was gone fast. The world planned their quick ruin." The next hit struck that same day. Dizzy from the boot order, their space shrank. They had less than 35 days to leave. Sophie surely needed to flee. Maybe she ran to Pal to vent. Maybe she went to her mom to weep. She stormed outside, mad. She walked to her parked black Porsche Macan. The car was missing. A tow truck sat there instead. Its blue lights flashed in a cold way. Her car, her pride, her online prop was on the hook. The front tires hung off the street. A guy in a work suit just shrugged at her yells. He held the legal forms. The bank took the car. Let's see, the Pendleton Family Trust. Account status, bad. This was a very open shame. The guard who once ran to help her just stared flatly. Locals peeked through the glass. It was a huge social stain. Her life fell apart on the roads of Philadelphia. She could yell or weep. It did no good. The clipboard man ruled. The big rig roared and left. It stole the final chunk of her snobby life that snapped them. Losing their house and car so fast broke their calm. A failed card is bad. The true dread of having no home is much worse. Real nature hides in good times. Hard times show the truth. I gave my kid a cushy life. Now the mess showed who he truly was. Their choices hit zero. They had no pals to ring, no stash to grab, just one Navy SUV sat left. They had one mad, dumb plan. In their heads, the root of the pain was the cure. They fought my hush from far away. Next, they planned a clash at my gate. I bet their last chat in the bare flat was quick and sad. They used up all their angry words. Only bare panic stayed. Ryan looked white. Wild sparks lit his eyes. He snatched the last keys off the stone top. He glared at Sophie. She was his mate in the ruin. "Get in," he said. He lost his smug tone. Now he spoke like a man with zero to lose. "We drive to Pennsylvania. He will see us on his grass. He must look at us. The trip from Philadelphia to my Pennsylvania place is 45 minutes on empty roads." For them, it was 45 minutes of pure rage, fear, and weak hope. They prayed a real meat could fix it. They still dreamed their tears meant a lot to me. They drove to my house to yell. They thought guilt might unlock my bank. They did not get that the old me was dead. I stood in the yard when they pulled up. My watch beeped soft a bit prior, car incoming. I did not view the lenses. I knew the guests. The yard was my safe spot. Martha and I built it years back. Each bush held a name and a past. Pruning them was deep rest. It was calm, slow care. That day I wore my thick ear gear. I picked some Mozart piano sonatas. The neat, full tunes flooded my mind. It fit the yard chore perfectly. The realm past my 10-foot stone fence faded out. I sensed them at the main door. I saw it in my head. Ryan hit the bell hard. Sophie walked back and forth on the rocks. Her rich shoes fit poorly for this doomed fight. They met the exact wall that hurt them all 5 weeks. Pure, dead quiet. The bell stayed mute. The bars stayed shut. At the yard's tip past a neat bush, I saw the street. I watched them leave the door. They walked the edge, trying to sneak inside. They seemed like lost men on a hard aisle. Soon they hit a spot in the iron grate. It let them look at the back grass. They saw me right then. Their stares burned me. It felt real, a prickle on my skin. I knew they stood 100 feet back. Their noses pushed on the icy bars. I never spun around. I gave no nod. I stuck to my work. I picked a mixed plant, a lilac blue moon rose. I checked the green bits for dark rot. I moved slowly and well. I took my clippers, the metal shone in the light. I sliced it clean near a stem. This was the real clash. No screams, just a show. My calm versus their mess, my hush versus their din. My locked yard versus their crushed world, they yelled. I caught 0 words past the grand Mozart. Their wild calls shrank to a soft bug hum. Still, I saw them. Ryan had a red, twisted face. Sophie waved her arms. She begged, then made tight fists. They put on a huge, sad show. The crowd was deaf to it all. They howled into a muted box. Their old emotional grip on me broke. Their terms used to hurt me deep. Now they missed my ears. They yelled for 13 minutes. Their fuel faded into pure, sad fatigue. Then the guard car came. My tech calls cops if the bell rings 5 times fast. It alerts if a car stays for 13 minutes. Slick Navy SUV with the firm badge parked in back of them. A guard in gear hopped out. His name was Derek. He drove these streets for years. He was so purely chill. He took his time and kept it cool. He strolled to them. He was nice but firm. I missed the talk but read their forms. Ryan posed hard at first. Sophie cried a big fake tear. Derek stood solid and calm. He heard them out, bobbed his head, and told them to go. They stood on my turf uninvited. They were no longer family. They were just snoops. The loss was total. They held no more tricks. They sagged to their last ride. All drive vanished as they left. Derek's car hid until they drove far. Then it left. Quiet came back, thick and whole. I finally spun. I dropped the ear gear. The true globe zoomed in. Soft wind blew. A sparrow sang in the maple tree. I paced to the blue moon plant. I took the prime lilac flower I cut. I smelled its rich, neat scent. I beat their big push with no yells. I took 0 steps past my yard. I won by doing nil. I just skipped their wild storm. The trip to the city was surely long and mute. Their last wild risk flopped poorly. It was a huge joke. They dragged their sheer rage to my path. A soft, blank wall kicked them out, not a mad spat. They were sent away. Force gone, funds gone, hope dead. The sure final crash hit next. It was a sheer undoing. It kicked off that dusk. A flood of pings aimed at a calm man. He sat fine in his room reading Rome Tales. Rings chimed from alien lines. It was a rapid tech attack. My phone was set to mute and track unknown calls. I did not stir. The chip did the task. It was a quiet cyber guard. It blocked rude guests. The next dawn I sipped a hot brew. I viewed the sun paint the sky. I chose to check the night notes. I had no care, just a need to log it all. I hit play on my inbox. The first tape dropped right as they reached the town. Ryan spoke with pure rage. Do you think this is a game? You think you can just hide behind your walls and guards? You cannot do this to us. You are ruining our lives. My wife is a mess. We are losing it all. Do you even care? He felt entitled to my money. His anger hid his belief that I owed him a rich life. 45 minutes later, a new text came from a new number. The tone changed. The anger was gone. Fake care took its place. It was a very bad act. Dad, it is Ryan. We are just worried about you. You do not answer your phone. You hide in your garden. This is not like you. We worry for your health. Are you fine? Are you lonely? Please tell us you are safe. That is all we want. I shook my head at the clear trick. They did not care about my health. They only cared about their bank account. The texts went on all night. They grew more and more desperate. The last one came around 3:00 a.m. His voice sounded broken. His anger was gone. He sounded like a fully beaten man. Dad, please, he whispered. I heard Sophie crying in the back. Please, I am sorry. I am truly sorry for the text. We were dumb. We made a huge mistake. We will fix this. I will get a real job. I swear we will pay you back. Please do not do this. Do not throw us away. We are family. Please call me back. I heard the sad plea. Then I opened my blocked calls list. My phone logs all calls. I looked at the list from last night. There were pages of blocked calls from unknown numbers. They came between 7:00 p.m. and 4:00 a.m. The phone showed the exact total at the top. 109 calls. They tried hard to break my rules. I put the phone down. The test was done. I had the facts. It was time for the last step. I took the phone and made one call. Robert, I said when he answered. It is time. The email. Hours later, the message hit their inbox. It looked like a sign of hope for them. It came from Vance and Associates. It looked formal and scary. The subject was clear, a meeting about the Pendleton Family Trust. The note was short and cold. Dear Mr. Pendleton and Ms. Pendleton, my client Arthur Pendleton invites you to a meeting. We will discuss the Pendleton Family Trust. We will meet at our office this Friday at 10:00 a.m. Please confirm you will come. I knew how they would read this. They would miss the cold tone. They would not see it as a strict call. They would view it as my defeat. They would think their 109 calls and sad sorries had worked. They felt they broke me. They thought they were coming to win back their place. They did not know they were coming to face their end. That morning, I went to Robert's office 45 minutes early. We sat in his room. The final legal papers sat on the desk. I had no doubts at all. The preceding 5 weeks made me more sure. Robert checked the plan one last time. He wanted it to be perfect. Are you ready, Arthur? He asked. I looked out at the busy city below. Every act has a result. I am fully ready, I said. Let us go to the room. The room looked scary. A huge, shiny wood table took up most of the space. One wall was all glass. It showed a huge view of the city. The room made you feel tiny. Big deals ended here with a quick pen mark. It was the best place for what came next. I sat at the head of the table. Robert was on my right. The thick paper book sat right in front of me. We waited. They came right at 10:00. Being on time showed their panic. Robert's helper brought them in. They looked like strangers in a trap. They looked weak. Weeks of stress took away their shiny look. Ryan wore a rich suit, but it fit poorly. His eyes showed he lacked sleep. Sophie's makeup failed to hide her fear. Her mouth looked very tense. They tried to act like sorry grown adults, but they just looked like scared kids at school. They sat across from me. The big shiny table felt like a huge gap. The room felt heavy with quiet words. Robert spoke first to break the ice. Thank you for coming, he said in a flat tone. We have water for you. Arthur wants to talk about the family trust's future. That was Ryan's cue. He cleared his throat and sat up. He began his practiced act. Dad, he said. He tried hard to sound very real. Sophie and I are very sorry. The last 5 weeks were bad, but we had time to think. Things went too far. It was a bad mix-up. He stopped to see my face. I gave no clue. I just sat still with hands on the table. My quiet made him afraid. He spoke much faster now. We felt a lot of stress. Work was hard. We acted badly. That text was wrong. I sent it while mad. We did not mean to hurt you. We love you, Dad. You are our dad. Sophie reached out to touch my hand. She faked some tears. We love you a lot, Arthur, she softly said. I just kept listening with a steady look. His talk was purely dodging blame. He used words like we and us. He blamed outside stress. He took no real fault. He did not say sorry for his acts. He said sorry because of my firm reply. He said sorry due to pure panic. He lost his whole world and wanted it back. He spoke for 5 more minutes. He gave weak reasons and empty vows to change. When he finally stopped, the quiet room felt even heavier. He looked at me with begging eyes. He hoped to see mercy or a weak spot. He waited for a chat or a deal. He thought I would list my grips and ask for new rules. He wanted our old emotional dance. I let the quiet drag on. Their unease grew to a very painful point. Then I slowly moved my hands. I placed them on the thick paper book. My hands on the smooth cover made the only sound. I did not yell. I did not fight his points or pick apart his fake sorry. There was nothing left to talk about. I pushed the file to him. It slid over the shiny table. The heavy book made a soft hiss sound. It stopped right in front of Ryan. He stared at it like it was a deadly snake. Then I finally spoke up for the first time. My tone was calm and flat. It lacked the feeling he wanted to draw out. Thank you for sharing that, Ryan, I said. I heard you. Now look at this. I tapped my finger on the gold letters on top. This is the newly changed Pendleton Family Trust. It will answer all your questions on what comes next. With shaking hands, Ryan grabbed the paper. Sophie leaned in very close to him. They opened the cover. I watched their eyes dart over the thick pages. They skipped the hard legal words. They did not read to understand. They just looked for the numbers that funded their whole lives. Their fingers shook while turning pages. They wildly looked for a life that was now gone. I chose to guide them. My calm voice broke their fearful quiet. Go to page 12, I said. Section 3, it covers the main heirs. It is much simpler now. Ryan moved his finger on the text. His breaths grew short. I gave him time to see it. Then I stated the facts coldly, like a doctor giving bad news. Look at clause 3.1. It used to name you, Ryan, and you, Sophie, as the main heirs. That is now fully gone. Sophie made a tiny sad sound. Ryan just stared hard at the paper. Also, I firmly said, Clause 3.2 is cut out. It gave you the $25,000 monthly cash and paid your bills. That is totally erased. There is no money rule left for you. The room went totally dead quiet. Only faint city cars hummed far below. Soon, Sophie looked up in pure shock. Her next question showed her greedy worldview dying out. So, she softly shook. Where does the cash go? I made one slow move. I flipped a page in my copy. The crisp paper noise echoed in the quiet space. A great and smart question, Sophie, I said. Turn to page 15. You will see new clause 4.1. It shows the trust's new goal and single heir. They rushed to find the page. They saw the new title and name, but they failed to grasp it. I told them the facts. All of the $37 million will now start a forever fund. It is the Pendleton Next Generation Scholarship. Before they could think, Robert Vance spoke. His voice added cold legal weight. The fund, Robert cleared up from a paper, pays fully forever. It covers school costs and living for poor, smart kids. They must study business or design at Pennsylvania State University. Robert's words hung in the air. Each word hit like a hard tool. I let the silence sit for a bit. Then I gave the final sharp twist. I looked right at my son. I saw the boy I raised and the failing man he chose to be. That is the school you quit, Ryan, I said in a flat tone. I paid for 2 whole years. Now someone will finally finish there with a Pendleton family fund. That was it. The crash was total. Sophie cried out like a hurt beast. Ryan's pale face lost all its color. He looked wiped out completely. The money was gone, but his lazy failure was also turned into a prize for someone else's big win. His fresh life would start right on the ruins of his old one. It was a firm and legally solid poetic justice. They did not just lose their future, they lost their past too. 7 months later, I stood at a school stage. The room did not smell of rich scents and costly food. It smelled of old books, wet paint, and huge hope. I was not with rich elites. I stood with students and families. They had proud faces that money cannot buy. I looked glad, well, and very calm. I felt better than I had in 25 years. This was the first award event for the Pendleton Next Generation Scholarship. I gave the main speech. I spoke about my own life. I talked about opening a firm in a dusty shed with just tools and a dream. I spoke of hard work's pride. I talked of second chances and true value versus a mere price tag. A real mark, I told them, is not items left behind. It is what you put inside people. I looked at the young, driven kids. They now had the chance my own son tossed out. I knew my money was now well spent. Far away, my son learned the harsh facts of choices. I had failed to teach him that before. A quick, quiet look showed his new life. The huge top-floor flat was gone. He lived in a small flat above a wash shop now. His rich suits vanished. He wore a bright work vest for a shipping job. I saw him on a dock with a board. He looked tired but sharp. He finally carried a real duty. And Sophie's web fame was an old memory. She now ran a small clothes shop in a mall. I saw her calmly folding shirts. Her face looked tired but tough. The fake flash of her past was gone. She now faced the bare truth of paid hours. Their life was not pretty or easy anymore. It was hard, it was a fight, but for the first time it was all theirs. Their bond, I guessed, was tight and weak, but it grew again on the firm, harsh ground of facts. I ended my talk. Claps filled the room. My last thoughts were like a quiet note to the past. I spent 35 years of my life writing checks. I finally knew it was time to build a real mark. My last and best gift to my son was not cash. It was what he meanly asked for. It was pure space. Room to fail, room to learn, room to finally stand on his own 2 feet. By losing the money, they gained a chance to earn their lives. Along the way, I got my own peace back. And maybe one day I will get my son back. Not as a needy kid, but as an equal. A bond built on hard, earned respect, not duty. Later that night, I sat home in the garden. The low sun cast long, dark lines on the grass. The air was cool and still. My phone was quiet for 7 months. It buzzed on the small table next to me. I picked it up. A text came from an unknown number. The text had just one word and a mark. Dad. I stared at the screen for a bit. The text lacked panic or demands. It was just a query. It was a fresh start across a deep gap of quiet. A small, hidden smile hit my lips. I did not smile to gloat or forgive, but from quiet joy. The power to reply and to set the future was all mine now. I placed the phone face down on the table. I did not need to reply right away. I leaned back in my seat. I listened to the calm night sounds. The quiet no longer felt sad or empty. It was light and full of new hopes. For the first time in ages, the quiet felt like a start. This tale is a strong lesson. Real love needs firm, hard limits. Arthur Pendleton gave a lot to help his son, but it only made the son greedy and broke their bond. He learned that giving non-stop did not ready kids for life. It only made them weak. His best act as a dad was not paying more bills. It was finally saying no. By doing this, he gave his son the hardest but best